Hearty welcome to all knowledge seekers to my channel. This is Dr. Madhusudan Rao Kadapa. In this video, I am going to explain about the roles of operations manager in different decision areas. In some other video, I have explained about the definition, nature, scope, objectives of operations management. And in this particular video, I will be explaining about the decision areas where operations manager has to work in close coordination and cooperation with the different functional managers or functional heads, and in helping the top management to take optimal decisions. Coming to the decisions related to facility location and layout. In general, if any organization want to establish a unit, a manufacturing unit or a plant, then it has a different alternative sites. Then based on different factors like availability of raw material, availability of labor, power, water and other resources required, cost of the land, etc. So there are so many factors we will consider while selecting a suitable location to establish an organization. So here we have some points like assessment of merits and demerits of different locations. So as we are considering some factors in choosing the optimal location for a facility, that is the factory, we have to evaluate the merits and demerits for different locations, and comparative evaluation based on different factors. So based on the results that we arrive at by doing all such evaluations, we can guide the top management in taking decision related to the selection of appropriate site to establish the organization, and in guiding the top management to estimate the area and volume of space required for different facilities. That is, once the site is selected to establish the organization, the next step is to estimate the space requirement. So depending on the product we are making or service we are providing, and depending on the machinery or equipment, furniture, whatever we use in the organization, in the establishment process, all these things will require some area, floor space, and cubic space also. So depending on the height of the equipment or device machinery, and different number of floors also. Say if the operations are carried out in a multi-floor building, then number of floors. So the space requirement, that is area as well as volume for different machinery, equipment, and the aisles to be provided between the facilities to facilitate the movement of men, material, or for other transport purposes, internal transportation. And then material handling devices, the type of material handling devices we are going to use, whether it is a truck, forklift truck, or maybe a conveyor. Accordingly, the space requirements will vary, and storage space to place the work in process material, and also the stores and other things like cafeteria, office, and some other departments or functional areas which we have to establish in the organization. So in all these aspects, operations managers will guide the top management in estimating the floor space as well as the volume required for different machinery and equipment and so on. Next, decisions related to material handling system design. In order to move the materials between different facilities, that is the different machinery or equipment in between the facilities, what kind of material handling system has to be used, whether we use manual movement of materials using bins or racks or maybe trolleys, or we may use depending on the extent of automation, we may use some automated material handling systems like conveyors, maybe a belt conveyor or a bucket conveyor or any other type, depending on the material, volume of material moved and type of material, or we may use pipes if it is a liquid or a gaseous substance between different floors. So in all such cases we have to find out the material handling system to be used in the organization. So once depending on the process, the product, the extent of automation, etc., operations manager will help or guide the top management uh, to choose the appropriate material handling system, considering all the advantages and disadvantages of different material handling systems, and based on the extent of automation we are going to adapt in the organization. Then in planning the scheduled maintenance of material handling system, see, once we establish a particular type of material handling system in the organization, the material handling devices have to be properly maintained in order to keep them in good condition. So the maintenance schedules have to be prepared. So operations managers will work in coordination with the maintenance department in preparing the schedules for maintenance and in deciding the type of maintenance strategies, because we have different maintenance strategies like breakdown maintenance or preventive maintenance or predictive maintenance. So depending on the type of machinery and equipment and material handling systems we use in the organization, the type of maintenance strategy has to be determined. So in taking such decisions, operations managers also play important role. Then coming to the product design. While designing the product also, even though the operations manager may not involve directly in the design of the product, but he can provide the required data for the design department regarding the production facilities available based on the manufacturing process we are using to produce the product. And he can also give suggestions and inputs during brainstorming sessions on product development or prototyping. And the operations manager identifies and arranges different production facilities to meet the requirement of product as per the design, new design or maybe a redesign. So these are all the uh, areas where operations manager will involve or work together with the product design department. The next one is the decisions related to process design. We have several manufacturing processes to make a product. For example, we can make a product by using a molding and casting process, or we may use a machining process to manufacture a product, or we may use 3D printing. There are different manufacturing technologies or processes to make a product. So each process has its own advantages and disadvantages. The machinery setup, the skill set of employees required, all these vary depending on the manufacturing process. So once a process is decided, suppose if we want to go for molding and casting, then in the molding and casting has a standard operational procedure. So first of all we have to identify an optimal process of manufacturing. Then once it is identified, then the next step is to determine the standard operational procedure for each and every activity in the organization. So SOPs are made with the help of operations manager, because in each and every department there will be different set of operations or activities in a particular sequence, and all these activities or operations have to be carried out in the laid sequence in order to achieve the organizational objectives. Then coming to the next area, that is method study. So work study means analyzing the existing operations or procedures to enhance the processes. And also a part of work study is time study, which involves estimation of standard time required to carry out a particular operation or a process. So if any organization, because this work study is a continuous process, absolutely there is no best practice in the world. According to some philosopher, he said that there is absolutely no best practice in the world. Whatever the process we are following today may be better for today's situation, but if we analyze it, there will be some scope to improve the process. So operation process charts are made for different operations, which will be available with the operations manager, and the operations managers will help the method study or time study teams in improving the existing operations using the present operational procedures which are available in the process charts. Then involving in decisions related to process improvement programs. CPI means continuous process improvement. So organizations always try to improve the existing processes in order to improve the productivity, utilization of the material or men or any other resources. So operations manager also involves in the decisions related to the continuous process improvement programs. Coming to the decisions related to production planning, here we have some buzz terms like aggregate production planning, master production schedule, capacity requirement planning, materials requirement plan, bill of materials. These are all some buzzwords. So here, because of the time constraint, I will explain about all these topics individually in some other videos. Just I will give a brief note on these concepts. Aggregate production plan is based on the overall demand for a year. Say for example, if the annual demand is known, then aggregate production plan will determine how much has to be produced every month. That's it. Then master production schedule will give, that means using the information aggregate production plan, master production schedule is prepared. So production schedule, we know very well that production schedule means the time phasing of the production plan. So in master production schedule, different quantities of the products, when these products have to be made, and when these products have to be finished and kept ready for dispatch. So all that information will be available in master production schedule. It uses the demand information as well as the rough cut capacity plans. And using the rough cut capacity plan, we can prepare the capacity requirement planning. That means how many machinery are required, of what capacities, how many men are required, in the sense employees are required with different skill sets, and so on. Then next one is materials requirement plan. So MRP 1, materials requirement plan is will determine the requirement of different materials to make the products as per the master production schedule, and the quantities and when, how much, where the materials are required. And coming to the bill of materials, in an assembly line, different materials will be required at different points of time. Say for example, if you consider the assembling of a automobile, maybe a car or a bike, so different parts like maybe wheels, the rim and spokes, the tire and tube, and handle, the mirrors. So these are all required at different points of time. So initially we start the assembling with a chassis or a body, and one by one we will go on fixing different components to the chassis, and finally we will get the assembled product. So bill of materials will give you information about the number of each type of material or components requirements. Then in preparing monthly, weekly or daily or shift wise production plans. So in production planning also, operations managers role is there, and they will involve in uh, these activities directly or indirectly, depending on the nature and type of organization and scope of business and the people available in different, I mean, for these functional areas and so on. Coming to the decisions related to production control. See, once we have a production plan and we have scheduled everything and we have arranged the material and we have men, machine, material, everything is provided, but everything will not happen as per our expectations. So there may be several factors which may lead to deviations in the production processes. As a result, the utilization levels of men, material, or machinery may be somewhat less than, that means suboptimal than what we expect in reality. So in evaluating the productivity, there is a percentage utilization of the manpower, that is labor productivity or you may call human resource productivity or productivity of machines, that is in terms of machine hours, and then material productivity. So productivity is a measure which indicates the utilization levels of different resources in the organization. So in evaluating the productivity and in process control activities, see, once a process is set in the organization, we can't expect that everything will happen as per the standard operational procedures. So there may be some deviations, maybe due to machine wear and tear, or there are so many reasons where how the process will go out of control. So once if we identify or if we continuously monitor the processes or activities in the organization, then we will easily find out the deviations when deviation is occurring. So these deviations may be irregular or sometimes it may be cyclic or maybe following some different patterns. So accordingly, we have to observe and take corrective measures in order to bring the process under control. Then in scheduling or rescheduling of rush orders, if any. See, we will prepare the production schedule, but sometimes due to some reason or the other, there may be changes in the demand or maybe some new products requirements may be there or unexpected demand may be there. As a result, we may get some rush orders, and these orders have to be, I mean, included into the regular scheduling process. So sometimes it may be required to reschedule our production schedules uh, in order to accommodate the changes. Then in maintaining the production rate, that means every machine has its own capacity, and depending on the production rate, we will plan the delivery dates for the products to be delivered to the customers. So in order to stick on to the delivery dates, we have to see that the production rate is properly maintained. Otherwise, the deliveries may be delayed. In monitoring and reporting the progress of activities and resolving issues related to deviations. So continuously there will be monitoring of the production processes in order to find out whether the process is under control or not, and the progress has to be reported to the concerned authorities, and suppose if there is any issue or maybe any deviation, corrective measures have to be taken to avoid such deviations. Next, decisions related to quality control. Quality control is a very important factor, and here in organizations there will be a department which is headed by some manager of quality control, but while making policies related to the quality standards or you may call acceptable quality levels for different processes, operations manager will involve in estimating the quality levels, acceptable quality levels for different processes, and in fixing the norms, quality norms for the organization at different levels. See, there may be rejections or rework or any such scrap at different levels in the organizational production process. So at each level we have to fix some norms in order to control the rejection levels and to make the employees aware of quality, and to reduce the reworks, and in finding the tolerance limits also. And coming to the statistical quality control, SQC uses different techniques and mathematical methods and statistical processes to evaluate the quality levels and to find the variance, skewness, standard deviation, and some other measures. And using these measures, we can identify the quality levels. So, evaluation of the quality levels using SQC, and then in implementing the Lean and Six Sigma and other initiatives in order to minimize the wastages. Lean is concerned with minimization of wastages, and Six Sigma is concerned with maintaining the quality standards with close tolerances. So in all these aspects, operations manager will also involve and work together with the quality control or any other department related to these aspects. Next, decisions related to maintenance. So we have different maintenance strategies like breakdown maintenance or preventive maintenance, predictive maintenance. So depending on the type of machinery, depending on the type of manufacturing process, whether it is instantaneous or continuous, like so for example, the cement, some food processing industries, and molding and casting. These are all continuous process industries where the companies will be working throughout the year. That means maybe throughout the week there may be one day allowed for scheduled maintenance. On the other hand, there are some companies where the components are manufactured like machinery components or spare parts. That is intermittent, so you can stop the production at any point of time. And depending on the machinery condition as well as the breakdown probabilities and I mean importance of the machine in the production process. Suppose if it is a continuous process organization, even if there is a small breakdown in a one particular machine, the entire production has to be stopped. So depending on the importance of the machine in the production process, we have to decide on what kind of maintenance strategy has to be followed, whether it is breakdown or preventive. Then supporting maintenance department in providing inputs related to machinery loads, because suppose the maintenance department has to schedule the maintenance for different machinery or equipment, they must know how much load is there on the machine and when the machine will be free in order to plan their schedules such that the maintenance activity will not disturb the production schedules. And in determination of maintenance schedules for different machines, and if it is preventive maintenance. Then decisions related to materials management and inventory control. Now coming to the materials management point, uh, it estimates the material requirement. That means it involves entire process of starting with getting quotations, getting requirements from different departments, and getting quotations, processing the quotations, and so on. So that is what a purchase department will take care actually. But the operations manager, particularly where he involves in inventory related things, means in estimating the materials requirement, that is based on the MRP or ERP, whatever the software they use. So the quantity and quality of materials, what, when, where, and how much is required for different production process will be estimated by the operations manager. Because production manager will take care of only production activities, purchase manager will take care of only purchase activities. Then who will link these two activities? Means operations manager. He will take care of the preparing the estimates of material required for different operations. Then providing inputs to purchase department in terms of EOQ, economic order quantities, and collaborative decisions on bulk purchases to take cost benefits and so on. And in decisions related to waste reduction, scrap, rework, rejections in manufacturing process. That's what we came across in lean. Next, decisions related to uh, optimization of the human and other requirements, other resource requirements. Here, if it is a project, basically, uh, in projects, what happens? There will be several activities which are interdependent, or some of the activities may be independent. So, in any case, the project managers will be there, but operations manager will help the project managers in carrying out the CPM and PERT analysis. Or of course, project manager also can do that. But the required resources have to be furnished by the operations manager. So the progress of activities, evaluating the progress, then resource leveling. Suppose if there are some parallel activities but we have limited resource, then how to adjust the available resources for different activities such that the total project duration will not be disturbed. So all this, in order to understand all these things, you have to go through the CPM and PERT, how it is done, and network crashing, and how resource allocation and resource leveling is done for different activities in a project. Then evaluating the optimal crash duration. Suppose if it is a project which requires some time which we have estimated using critical path method or PERT analysis. But suppose if you want to finish the project a bit earlier, then the cost of completing the project will increase by crashing the duration by each day. For different activities, the normal duration and normal cost will be different from crash duration and crash cost. So we have to find out the optimal crash duration and cost of the projects, and in providing reports and budget proposals related to projects to the top management. So while taking such decisions, operations manager play important role in doing all these things in coordination and cooperation with the cooperation of project management team or maybe project manager. So thank you very much for watching this video. For more videos on operations management, like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.